Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's video. I'm not really feeling this makeup look, honestly. We're gonna have to deal with it because it's what I have going on today. I have just a couple videos to film, and I think I'm gonna be good. Probably take this makeup off. Probably take this lip off. I don't know. But anyways, today we are gonna be doing a Natasha denona mini eyeshadow palette ranking for 2023. Okay, so I have every single mini except for two, and I still placed them in this ranking. We'll talk about them when we get to it, but I have a giant mini collection. I really love Natasha denona. These do retail now for $27. They used to be $25. They're $27 now. So let's start with my least ranked palette. My least ranked palette, let me actually count so we can do a number. Alright, in 16th place is the mini Tropic palette. So this is always on sale. I actually got mine on sale for $21 when they were originally $25. Now it's on sale for $25 and they're regular $27. So this is the last row of the big $129 Tropic palette that came out 2018, 2019, somewhere in that area, I think. And apparently that row wasn't the absolute best formula, so she had to reformulate it and she put it in this palette. I still don't think that this is a good formula. I think that these two shimmers are fine. This is like hard panned so bad. I'm sure you can see. This is just too light for me to use it for anything for purples, and I do like this blue. So my only, I like the bottom, I don't like these two colors. I don't think these two colors are good formula. But I like these two, but for me, that's not a whole look, really. So that's why I ranked this here, because every time I pull it out, I want to go for color, but I don't know. It's just not good. Alright, in 15th place, I think, is going to be the newest mini to her line, and that is Mini Pastel. This is brand new. I have not had a chance to actually play around with it on the eyes yet. However, I ranked this where I ranked this because it's a 5-pan and it has one matte and the rest are shimmers. Yeah, brother to the rescue. But yeah, so this has 4 shimmers and 1 matte, and I just don't feel like that's ideal to reach for. Okay, so the spot that I'm thinking we are at is spot 14. And what I put in spot 14 is the mini Metropolis palette. So this is the mini for the big Metropolis palette. And I've spoken a lot about how I'm not really into the Metropolis palette, just because it's a really random color story, even though a lot of people love it because they say it's really good quality. I just can't personally for myself justify spending $129 on a palette that I have the dupes of, and I don't even use the dupes I spent 20 bucks on because I get overwhelmed. So I got this and the brush, and I have to say her kits that come with the minis and the brush are such a good deal because you pay $27, which is the regular retail price of these, and you get a free brush. The color story is what I have an issue with. For me personally, this is actually a perfect 5-pan because I want 3 mattes and I want 2 shimmers in a 5-pan, to be honest, because that's how I typically do looks and makeup with 5-pans. But these just aren't really the color story I was kind of thinking for the Metropolis palette. This is a little light, this is a little warm, and this is a little cool toned. It just doesn't really seem like it flows together in my opinion, but I do absolutely love this green. I think that this is the most stunning color ever, and I use the brush that came with this all the time. Alright, next spot would be 13? Mini Leela. So this, a lot of people had a lot of issues with this, with quality-wise. I can make this work. You can see the same issue I have on this shade, which is the shade that I pull this palette out for. Has quite a bit of hard pan, just like with the Tropic palettes. But I do really enjoy this palette because it is my perfect 5-pan, like I said, with the 2 shimmers and the 3 mattes. I'm more of a matte-centric person. I like to have more mattes than shimmers. So, I start with this shade in my transition. Then I go this in the crease, this in the outer corner and deepening the crease. This is always what goes on my lid, and then this is the brow bone and inner corner highlight shade. So it's just an easy step-by-step look for me, but again, it's just not the Natasha denona quality, and for $25, you want the Natasha denona quality. 27 now, but she doesn't sell this anymore, so. I just double-checked. We are on spot 12. So, taking the 12th spot is the Mini Star palette. So, I have the Big Star palette, and I do think that this is good representation for the Star palette. It just has 3 shimmers and 2 mattes, and for me, I'm always going to want to reach into the shimmer. because like I love those duochrome effects, and I don't know, it's just like it's kind of dark and deep, and I feel like my mom would love this. She's not getting it. Okay, spot number 11 is the mini sunset palette. I put this here even though it's kind of like the Leela where it has the not so great Natasha denona formula. I think that this is more wearable for everyday people. Like, this is the mini version of the big sunset palette, or it's supposed to be. And I love this red shimmer. I don't have a lot of these in my collection, honestly, so that's why this is ranking higher, is because of the color story. Alright, taking the 11th spot is the mini Zendo palette. I love this color story. I do have the big Zendo, and I don't think that this represents the big Zendo at all. But what I do want to talk about is I think that this actually kind of looks like a Juvia's Place palette. The Juvia's Place Nubian 3 Coral palette, which I am planning to pick up soon, looks a lot like this, and I kind of want to do a comparison video comparing them, because I feel like when you get a mini from Natasha denona, like when she releases a mini first, you kind of want the color story in the big palette, the mini palette that she ends up coming out with as the big version of this, to kind of match the color story of the mini. And I don't feel like that happens all the time. So, yeah. Taking the, what is this, 11th? Okay, this is the 9th spot, so I messed up somewhere. Is the mini gold. A lot of people, I think, are going to really go for this and love this. I 100% think that this is such a good color story. It's a great representation of the gold palette. Personally, I would have preferred this be a darker chocolate matte brown than a shimmer, but it is what it is. I mean, I don't curate it. I have the actual big gold palette, and I also have the baby gold palette. But I think that this is a good color story for most people. Alright, so taking the number 8 spot is one of the palettes that I do not have here to show you, and that is the mini Xenon palette. And the reason I put mini Xenon where it is because a lot of people have talked about lack of quality, and also I just cannot justify the price of a 5 mini. Like, I love the color story. I think it's gorgeous. I think that I can achieve a lot of very similar looks with my 4-pan from Kaleidos and the smoky Black Jasmine, I think is what it's called. And I also think you can achieve a lot of very similar looks from ColourPop's, what is it called, Smoke Show palette, which is sold out. And it's like, what, $10? And it's a 9-pan. So I just don't think that there's any excuse for it not being good quality. It is a 5-pan that has 4 mattes and 1 shimmer, which is great. Alright, taking the 7th spot is the mini Love palette. A lot of people love this, and I do too. I lean on the side of liking this a lot. This is really good pink tones. The only problem that I have with this, I think that this would rank a lot higher if this was a matte instead of a shimmer. Because again, I look at this, and with there being 3 shimmers and 2 mattes, it just makes it very hard for me to do a cohesive color story. Ranking in at number 6 is another one I do not have to show you, but it is the mini Retro palette. I love the color story of the mini Retro. I've talked about it before. I love the muted greens and the muted pinks together. That's why I have the Retro Glam. That's why I got Sydney Grace's and Mel's Memory Bundle. That's why I have the Novu palette from Anastasia. I love this kind of color story, and I cannot wait to have this palette in my hands to play with it some more. Alright, taking the number 5 spot is another one that is unfortunately no longer available, and that is the Mini Crush palette. This was the palette that came out for the kit last year for Valentine's Day, and I am really happy that I picked it up. Again, I really love the brush that it came with. I love this Daisy shade. I literally got this palette just because it had Daisy in it, because I really wanted Daisy, and then I ended up picking up the Cranberry palette later in the year. But I love this. I wish that the 2 shimmers that were in here weren't so liddy, like lid shimmers, because I kind of have a hard time with that. But like what I usually will do is take Claret and then like halo it with Daisy. So that's typically what I do. I really, really love pink tones. I loved pink tones last year. I'm hoping I can get away from the pink tones, so I'm trying to step out. Obviously, with my makeup today, I'm trying to step out of my comfort zone. I'm wearing Oh Lori 2 from Juvia's Place today, in case you guys are curious. I just had a mishap with my palettes where they fell. Luckily, they're fine, I think. Here, please keep the chip. Anyways, I will have to see if I have all of my babies. But anyways, in the number 4 spot is the mini Viva palette. Okay, so I have the big Viva palette, and I don't think that this actually represents the Viva palette as well as what it could. I don't like her cream to powder formula also, but I do love that this is 4 mattes, 1 shimmer. I think that this is going to be perfect to create a look with. Let's see. Number 3 is going to be the Mini Bronze palette. She released this again last year. Did she? No, these are all creamy mattes and metallic. So I'm excited to have this. I also have the Midi size bronze palette, so very excited. I probably don't need both, but it is what it is. In the second spot is Mini Glam. I love this. You guys know I lusted over this so hard last year. And I was so glad to finally have it in my collection. I think I picked it up during one of the Sephora VIB sales because I wanted it, and it was on sale. The only thing that I love cool tones. I just wish that this didn't have 3 shimmers, but personal preference. And taking the top spot, I'm sure you guys already know, is Mini Nude. Here's Mini Nude. I picked this up when she released her nude kit last year for the holiday. So I also got the brush because I want to have all the kits because I actually really love those brushes. So excited to have this. I do wish that this had only 2 shimmers and 3 mattes, but it has 3 shimmers, 2 mattes, but we will see what kind of looks I can come up with. Very, very, very excited to have this in my collection. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's videos. Please like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, all that social media. Great stuff. Remember, it really helps this channel out, and it really helps the engagement out, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye, guys.